So my name's Greg Booker. I'm the lead gameplay programmer at DPS Games. I'm responsible for the programmers working on everything that is the game rather than the technology underlying it. So the gameplay, the UI, audio, the meta game. I'm also heavily involved in recruitment and career development and processes like this. And I do spend a lot of my time liaising with other disciplines, working on technical designs, mentoring the more junior staff, getting involved in code reviews. I first started playing games probably about 40 years ago. I had a ZX81 when I was young. I started programming on that a little bit, playing more games on that, played on a variety of different machines, Spectrum, Amiga, SNES, and studied A-levels, moved into a computer science degree at the University of Southampton. And I didn't really think of games development as a career to begin with. But in my final year, I went into the careers office. I saw an advert for a job at a company that I recognised the name of because I played some of their flight simulations, a company called Simmers. I applied there, got the job, and I've been working in games ever since, for 24 years now. My short answer could be C++, C++, and C++. But seriously, C++ is key for us. That is probably the number one thing we look for. If someone's confident in C++ and they can build on those skills, then we can teach them most of the other things they need as we go. Experience in our case, in the Unreal Engine is really useful. Obviously, other studios do look for Unity and C# development skills, but for us, it's C++. And if you have some familiarity in Unreal Engine, then so much the better. Beyond that, the second thing for me is it doesn't matter how good you are at item number one. If you're not a team player and you can't work together well with others, then you're always going to struggle in this industry, unless you're making a micro indie game where there's just one person on their own doing it. There is so much involved here in working with other people across different disciplines, across different countries, different continents, in so many different ways. And so looking for people that get on well and you sort of like come across well, and you're introduced into other members of the team and they go, oh yeah, that seems like a nice guy. And that's a really important aspect of it. And finally, I think it's a passion for games development. Ultimately, with your computer programming skills, you could probably find a job where you can make more money in other industries, but you wouldn't have as much fun doing it. I'm not saying it's always fun. You can have good days and bad days, but there aren't that many jobs where you can say you're having fun and getting paid for it. And quite frankly, you get paid pretty well once you've been working in this industry for a while. So it's going to be a passion for games that drives people to learn new things in their own time and build on their skills. And really, it's not just about the job, it's about, yes, they're playing this game that we're building and we're enjoying it and they're finding ways to make it better. That all feeds into it. And that passion for games is what will make the best candidates for that. Take care with your portfolio. Some people will put everything in there, from the projects you do in your first year through to your final year project and game jams you've done. Pick the things that you're most proud of, the things that you feel are most impressive. And that goes for the source code as well. If you share the source code for a project, make sure it's source code you're happy with, it's well commented and well structured, because we're going to look at those things and we don't want to sort of search through the ordinary items to find the really good ones. So focus those items. Then the second one for me is about specialist areas, cool topics. Machine learning is one that comes up a lot. And don't get me wrong, these things are important and they are used in different areas of games development, but don't get too focused in on one thing early on. It's one thing working in this area in an academic environment, but when you actually try it in the real world in a games development studio, you may find that you don't find it anywhere near as interesting as you first thought. So keep your options open. Try different things by all means, but be open to coming into a role and experiencing games development and then thinking about what it is that you want to do once you've tried different things in a real games development project. Then finally, this one's an interview tip really. If there's a question you don't feel you have the answer to, don't panic. Think it through and think it through out loud. For me, it's almost more important sometimes to hear what people are thinking and how they're attacking a problem than the answer itself. You might not get all the way to the answer, But if I can see that you attack a problem and try to solve it with the information and the knowledge that you do have, then that's often more important than having a head full of facts that you can't connect together and make use of. This first step into the industry is often the hardest part. Back when I first started in games dev, there were no games development programming degrees. I just did a traditional computer science degree, and there were less roles, but there were also a lot less people going for those roles. Now there are thousands of grads each year, and they will often come from different parts of Europe and even beyond. And so it's challenging to find those things that will make you stand out. Participate in game jams. Show your enthusiasm for projects. Go to presentations like Grads in Games. Take part in Search for a Star and other competitions like that. And they give you exposure to industry professionals and how they think and what it is they do, and the feedback they give you to those things can often be really important in building on that and building your portfolio for when you go to apply for those jobs. Take care when putting together your portfolio pieces. Pick something to focus on and build it well and make it complete. It's better to have a really polished Tetris with all of the features and a menu and a high score table that looks good and feels solid than having a half-finished open world RPG that you've decided to build because it's a grand plan, but you don't really consider the fact that it's going to take you 18 months to just build a fraction of it. When you're a graduate, especially, and you're particularly in a time like now when the uncertainty of the pandemic means that people are worried about getting jobs and making a living for themselves, don't apply for every role in sight. Try and target your applications. Learn about the studios that you're applying to and look for the ones that match up with your interests and your enthusiasm, so you can go in there and genuinely demonstrate a desire to work for them on their projects rather than to just get in the door into the industry and get paid by somebody. It's about how you really want to work for them. Sometimes you may have to dig quite deep, really look for interviews with developers from the studio, look at how the projects they've worked on in the past and try and find something to pick on and just make your application that little bit more personal so that it stands out from the crowd. The other thing I would say is, whilst you can be optimistic about your skill set and whether it fits in, read the job specifications. If something asks for a required skill, that's not really a negotiable one. You may feel that you can fill that role, but there are people out there with industry experience that will better suit that role. And so pick the ones that actually match to you and you can really tick the boxes and say, yes, I can do that role, I have those skills, and I can bring the enthusiasm and the knowledge that I've gained to your company and be a benefit to you.